Hello everyone, welcome to the course of this week of Zen brushwork. Now basically I would like to give you an introduction to explain what Zen brushwork is about. Zen brush is about focusing the mind with calligraphy and painting. Therefore there is a different component about Zen brushwork. So basically the workshop will be kind of a mixture between Zen brushwork and Japanese brushwork, giving a step-by-step instruction. And because Zen brushwork in a traditional way comes with calligraphy as well, and also certain exercise and preparation ritual, physical ritual and preparation on doing Tai Chi and other exercise, which we can't really do here online. And also most of the time when you do Zen brushwork, it gets quite big and you actually work on the floor. So I'm just adapting the idea, which is still Japanese brushwork is very into the Zen idea, the philosophy around it. It's all about connecting with nature and expressing the essence where less is more. In few strokes, you can capture the essence of nature and be part of it without having to think about it, without having to have in mind exactly, you already have in your mind what you're going to draw. You don't need to plan it in a sense. It's just a kind of a connection. So it can be very relaxed, it can be very like a meditative at the same time. And so I want to show you some of the material usually I use for Japanese brushwork, and what they call the four treasure, which actually are the paper, ink, which is this case is actually liquid ink, but the ink traditional way is in stick, which you actually ground. So that's one example, a beautiful one, which I bought, and just to show you, I'm not going to use it now, I'm going to use the liquid, which is actually usually easier, but just to give you an idea how many types you can find. So that's a stick, and this ink stick is actually grounded on an ink stone, which is number 3 on the 4 treasure. And as you can see, is the way you do it is actually in circular movement. Put a bit of water here, and then while you're moving, you go up, and then you circulate in this kind of a ritual. Then it put you in a certain state. And then when you try with your brush, when it's black enough and bold and dark, you can use it. Again, as I say, we're going to use the liquid one already made. And of course, the first element or number 4 treasure is the brush. Now, Chinese or Japanese brush are quite different from or Western brushes, so you can see. And I often use a brush stand to avoid messiness and just to keep it there and straighten it. And then, as you can see, these are not very small size, and but usually use. But the beauty of this brush is that you can actually, the point is to learn how to be able to use each part of the brush. You actually, if you start with the tiny point, you can have a very thin line, and the more you press, you have a stronger and thicker line. So you can use it in a different way. That can become a brush for thin and thicker line. But there are also other brushes, you can buy a much thinner one. That's the one I'm going to use today. So we got ink, paper, ink stone, and brushes. That's the 4 main elements. Of course, there are other things. As you can see, I put paper weight here, which is keep the paper firm. I have another quite unique one, which is quite big, with a lovely painting, the Chinese. When I'm not grounded on this, of course, the liquid ink can go any kind of small bowl. This beautiful one I bought in a Japanese shop. So I'm going to put some ink in there. And basically, that's most of it. Another thing you might find interesting, and some people sign with stamps specific Japanese words, or even your name if you make it with your own name. They're stamps. I got these stamps, which the symbol of love, you use in a specific ink. Another tiny but really beautiful one. You see, there are different types. These are just the typical stamps. We're not going to use it, but just to show you what you can have in this kind of technique and art form. And there are different type of brushes. These are quite medium. They are much bigger than that. If you don't find this, you can even use pebbles just to hold the paper down. And also basically what I'm going to show you, because it's more tradition in Zen brushwork specifically, all kind of black and white, the symbol of the black as the black ink is a symbol of the shapes and everything, the feeling, the element, the motion, everything you put into paper, and the paper itself represents the universe, like a drawing in the universe. But in a Chinese version and some other way, and you will see from the material I send you with the illustration you can use, there are some colors as well. And I use Japanese watercolor. You can use normal watercolor, Western watercolor, ink. You can play with around, especially now it's difficult to find all the perfect, and you don't have to have this. Just to show you, this is my Japanese one. But as I was saying, I'd only show you some symbol, some idea, just made it with this ink, the black ink. And last thing I want to show you, and this mostly for the beauty of things you can find about Japanese, that's more like for the beauty of it, really. It's not necessarily anything, but this is an amazing, beautiful gift from Japan. Then I bought from a girl, and this is absolutely beautiful. I just want to show you because I think it's worth it before we start. So it's absolutely beautiful, lacquer, and it's all handmade, and basically it's a set. It's a set of an ink stone, an ink stick, a brush you can separate and put together. So, and just a small tiny water dropping, which sometimes we use. Now this is a lot more, but we take it too long to explain even more than that, but I wanted to show you because it's really beautiful, and I thought it was worth it to do that. So basically, this is mostly what we need. Today I'm going to do, as I say, black and white. Not going to use water. It's the typical traditional, brushwork with a few strokes. And we're going to work on, I'm going to show you a simplified, which is not simple, honestly, bird with a simple branch, and a fish, like a jumping from the water. You have similar paper and information about this kind of drawing, and also what you will see, they never comes the same. If I do one, I do another one, and I might even do the one I do today, might not look really at the one before, I might not even like it the same way, because it's cannot be always the same, it's always going to be different. Because of the feeling and the way you move. And basically they have few strokes, never more than 10 strokes in total, and also they have open lines. They're not closed shapes, because you capture the essence. It's kind of line and make it a shape to capture the essence of these animals in this case. The brush is very different from a Western brush in the way you hold it, and basically it's not a lot different the way you hold it, but the main thing is with your finger, by the way you hold it while you paint. When you use Western brush, you tend to paint like this, right? You just, with this technique, you have to keep it straight, which will make it more difficult, I know that. Also, if you look my wrist, my arms, if you can see it, I'm not going to push down my arm and my elbow on the surface. You have to keep it up, which will make it more difficult, but that's the good exercise to try. So basically the way you should mostly hold it. You just keep, I know it's difficult, but you just keep practicing, just to get used to the brush becoming part of your body, your hand, become one, so not too tight and not too, so loose enough to be able to move your, and I never let student really start directly with the subject. We need a warm up, so to get, especially if you've never done it before. So what you're going to do, you're going to pour some ink. I'm going to do on that bowl I showed you. Slightly be careful, because it can, sometimes some bubbles come out. So I don't put a lot, it's quite dark, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you something very messy but really important to do, like the way you can use the brush, like down, small line, thinner line, rounds. You need to just have a warm up, have fun with the ink. It's not about drawing anything specific, okay? Just exercise with lines. When you dip it into the ink, remember that you don't need to be worried, just do the tip. Dip it, all of it, up to the end, all of it. If you feel it's a bit too much, you just do it slowly on the edge like that. Take a big deep breath and just start with a line. Now I'm trying not to press too much and see what kind of line I have. You see, they're not precise. I'm getting thicker. I'm going right to left. I don't know why. I'm doing a bit like a Japanese person. And then if I press all of it, you know, just get, and then I can play with the ink left. And if I say, if not, it's not enough, and then I just play with it. Try round, zigzags, anything you want, just to get the idea. Just do quick ones, tipping and like dotting ones. Just go around it, circular. The circle is very nice to, and it's very difficult one to make. Why, when it's get to nearly disappear, you can actually use the brush to do some kind of like, it's interesting the way, you know, the texture you can create when the ink is nearly finished, but you still got some ink in there. Okay, you go back, taking a bit, taking out of the edges, and carry on doing and trying, and feel it, just feel it, free on your hands, and get down, tip down, tip down, tip down, and try whatever you actually feel like. So see, it's a messy thing, really, but it's fun, and that's the point. It's like a warm up. So that's your brush, my brush, but you know, the way you actually use it, and that's just the exercise. Now I'm going to put this on my stand. I'm going to move this and take this off. By the way, one thing I forgot to show you, in terms of the type of paper we're going to use, I'm using cartridge paper because it's a good way to start as an exercise. As a beginner, I won't advise you to buy expensive or perfect good paper for Chinese or Japanese. Actually, with Japanese brushwork, there are two I tend to use. Something like this, which is actually rice paper. What called swan paper, which is typical in China, but the other one, Japanese particular, I love and use, which I'm not using now, but it's called mulberry paper. I also use bamboo paper. But now you can experiment if you think you can buy some of this paper, but honestly, even printing, copy paper, no cartridge paper, or a small simple pad you have, you can even use watercolor paper, but has to be with a smooth surface, no grain or no rough, all smooth, and that's fine. Especially if you decide to go for some exercise, I'll send you having to use colors, and then for you use a bit of water maybe, or you want to try some different tones, you have to probably use a watercolor paper would be good. It's going to be too long to go into that today, so I'll show you this one. I would like you to concentrate on this, but the color one I send you has a different, similar approach. You just use a color instead of the black to do the lines. It's not about filling in with colors, it's more about drawing with colors. So it's coming with the same principle. Now, let's start. Again, I dip my paintbrush. Now, I'm thinking to start with a bird. Now, this bird might come in a very strange way. It's very linear. It's got small, short and long stroke. And it's actually, it's not easy to make. It seems easy, looks easy, but it's not. And not even to me, it's coming always the same way. Sometimes I'm not happy about it. I threw so much paper. So let's gonna try. So the first thing I do, I point nail on top of the paper and I press lightly and I do something like that. Okay, what I do, I press lightly and move the brush. And when I actually go on the line, I release it slowly. So you have like a point, right? If you keep pressing, so you just release it slowly. And just drop small eyes. Then I do another kind of round one. So what I do, it doesn't have to be precise. You know, their stroke, they actually, you go, I tend to press and release to have a different texture and different pressure of that. So it's kind of a feeling. And then I start from there and I press a bit more because I want a very thick one over there. And another one feel like that. It's just a simplified way. Then I just separate the shape with kind of long symbol of trunk. And I can go on top just to make another stroke, but you can never correct. This is, as it comes. You do it again if you want to, but you never correct this. So, and then just go down to create like a tail. And basically you can actually take a bit more ink, go and create some kind of symbol of stick. See, press more and then release, and then you create like a symbolic bamboo. It's not really bamboo done properly, just a branch, which can actually remind you a bit of the bamboo. And you can go thicker or thinner, and that's all. It's not like a brilliant example, and it can come a different way, but I'll just show you like this, and that's simple. Look, for example, I'll show you something. That what I did before, see, they're slightly different. And that what I had on my card long ago, so they're all the same bird, but because of the feeling, because the way my hand move, it just changed. Some you might think, oh, I don't like the one you come out. Me, I don't like this one. I prefer this one, or just I don't have the feeling, and that you just carry on doing it. So it's not necessarily about being beautiful. It's all about, really, honestly, it's all about expressing yourself and really capture the nature you can see in you. I sometimes take a picture of a bird or some animal I like in the movement, and I interpret it in my own way, but in my head I'm not going to plan and draw anything first. I just go with it. This kind of technique is about drawing more than painting, because we never do a loud line, we never draw first. So painting, you should have a plan, you just do a certain drawing, you have some idea, put it down the drawing, and then you start putting colors. This is different. You actually draw with ink. It's like a drawing, because you're not using any pencil first, you just go with a brush. That make it much more challenging, and that's why it changes all the time. It takes time, and I have to be honest with you, it's been quite a long time since I did this kind of work. I mean, recently I've been doing other things, so even me, I feel a bit like rusty about this. So I hope it makes sense, and I hope you like the effect you can get. And I want to show you another one, which you actually have a similar illustration I put on the material sent to you, and basically it's like a simplified. Let's see what's come out here at this moment in my at the present moment. So it's concentrated on two main strokes, right? Starting from the bottom up, a kind of curved stroke, okay? Then I start from here, I keep a little bit of space, and then I go back up, yeah? Then I just keep a bit more strokes to get this effect of, like have a tail. Then you can add some small, fin or the fish kind of a. It's a quick kind of work. The quick you are, the better the effect is, in a sense, because it's kind of it's in action. It's a moment or like energy. When you breathe, what happens? When you breathe, what happens? You just you don't breathe. You breathe slowly, or quickly, but it just takes a moment. So it's kind of a moment of breathe. You breathe and a stroke come out. You breathe again, and there's another stroke come out. And you can create something in the middle and just create a small, short, spiky stroke if you want, like this, to get the middle. And then you can add things. You can create a bit of a scale, or if you want to, or just keep it like that. And then what I tend to do, I just create like some wavy lines for symbol of water, and that's all. So I see how quick it is. It doesn't mean it's gonna come automatically to you straight away how quick it is, but that's what it is. And I love the fish is jumping now like this. So and this is in a way easier than the bird, because I'm more curved and less strokes, but it's not easy to get a nice curve at the same time. So it's about practicing. I mean, I never got, and this is not my best anyway, it's nice, but even to get to this kind of nice curve, it takes time. And maybe I did 100 days, 100 birds, all of them. So it takes time. Don't feel frustrated if it doesn't come up straight away. Just enjoy and feel it. Don't feel relaxed in your hand. You see, I did another one earlier, and you see, it's different. It's not completely, but you know, there always some difference. So I hope you enjoy this. As I say, remember, you can never correct or go back to your strokes. It's a moment, that particular moment you leave it, and that's gone, that's finished, that's the feeling. You capture in nature, but you have a beautiful sense of a feeling of peace and connecting with nature through that. And when you actually put even color in, you have a different feelings. You can add color on top when the black is dry if you want a bit, but be careful, because if you go on top, it's gonna go wet again. Or just draw directly with another color if you like, your favorite color. Do the fish all brown, do the fish all blue or green. But remember, it's about the strokes, not about coloring. It's about using another color to do the same thing. So we got these two, and I hope you actually going to enjoy to try, and I look forward to your comments or any question you have during the week. So thank you very much. Love to all. Bye bye.